These guys, they get killed one movie, they come back the next one. And you know what's going to happen. You know that once they're dead, they're not just dead anymore. It all started with this concept of the dying God. He's coming back to life. That's what Mary Shelley started with Frankenstein. The whole series today about teens falling over for these vampires started with Bram Stoker and Dracula, based upon a real character, Vlad the Impaler. But Bram Stoker took him in ways that no one had ever conceived of before. By the way, Tom Cruise starred in a movie that was based upon Bram Stoker's Dracula. War of the Worlds, about aliens coming down to Earth. The Time Machine, going into the future. And for some reason, H.G. Wells parts away from his religious indoctrination from the Church of England, and now he is visualizing a future whereby man has been altered, and now he becomes two races on the earth. See, I read the Time Machine. H.G. Wells also came up with the Invisible Man. And let's be honest, we all wanted to be the Invisible Man. You ever been at a party or around people that you didn't want to be around? Become invisible. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Jules Verne wrote about Captain Nemo. Interesting. Let me dig this guy back up here. Who came up with this? There was a guy that, Alan Moore. He came up with The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And the movie came out, and I'm going, that'd be a cool movie. So I'm watching this movie, and guess who's in it? The Invisible Man, Captain Nemo, and several other of these famous 1800s characters, these supermen who can do all these fantastic feats. Now they're being brought together by a mysterious man by the name of Mr. M. And Mr. M basically, and you gotta see this. Let me show you this. Mr. M gathers together the Invisible Man and Captain Nemo and all these other guys, Alan Quatermain, into this room to be part of a new secret society. And look what's in the background in this Hall of Justice League. The square and the compass. The sons of God and the daughters of men. And when I first saw this movie and I saw that, and I went, what is that doing there? Now that I've done the research and done the homework, I get it. The false prophets are leading us. Here's a false Christ, Captain Nemo. He has all these scientific powers. Alan Quatermain, who dies, and at the end of the movie he's resurrected by magic. Get it? The Invisible Man and all these are the gods. These are the people who can do things that nobody else can do. And they're part of a secret society, like a Justice League, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I mentioned the Vril. Jack Kirby took this concept and somebody else took it way beyond where Jack Kirby, but it's basically about a race of people that live under the earth. They're supermen. They have magic powers and they have eternal life. This was written in a book by Edward Bulwer Lytton called The Coming Race. Coming Race. And it's about a race of supermen that are going to rise up and dominate planet Earth with their super abilities and superpowers. Here's a graphic. If you've ever heard stories of like an inner Earth, that the Earth is the hollow Earth theory, and that you go up to the North Pole and there's a secret doorway up there and so on, well, I can tell you that it's true. It's called the abyss, the bottomless pit. And there is a Superman race under there, according to Revelation 9, according to the Scriptures. Jude said that they were angels that were being held in prison. So they are, and by the way, they're called the Vril in Edward Lytton's book, The Coming Race. They were superior to all of the races. They got their power called Vril from what they referred to as the black sun. In other words, it was a sun inside of the earth, and that's where they got their power from. And that eventually this race was going to take over and dominate the earth. There was a secret society that operated inside the Tool Society. Let me tell you what the Tool Society was. The Tool Society was a group of occultists in Germany that many say gave rise to the dictatorship of Adolf Hitler. The Tool Society based the word tool was, I think, a Greek word that described a city that was called Hyperborea, which means above the Borealis. The Aurora Borealis is above the Arctic line, the Arctic Circle. The Tool Society, this city called Toul, was up above in the north. Some say it was down below, but that's where they came from, the north. All through the Bible, and I've pointed this out. We did a video called the Secret, the Mystery Behind the UN, or something like that. And if you look at the UN logo, there's a crosshair centered upon the North Pole. And according to the Scriptures, there is a super race, a nation, whose tongue you shall not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, that Jeremiah said comes from the North Country. Whew. So anyway, the Tool Society, which is based upon the idea that a super race exists up at the North Pole. Who else lives up there? Anyway, there was a secret society inside of that called the Vril Society. And some say they were the real movers and shakers of World War II in Nazi Germany. Here's their logo of the Tool Society. That's where Adolf Hitler got the swastika. And so, and think about this. Where is Superman's Fortress of Solitude? Remember, that's where we were broadcasting from last week, the Fortress of Solitude. Where is it? It's up at the North Pole, and it's a secret location that no one can ever know about except Lex Luthor, and he found it out. He found the secret, okay? But here's that swastika. Notice associated with the German eagle. I'll show you that in a little bit. Remember, an eagle is a god with wings, okay, just so you'll know. The swastika was their symbol, but Adolf Hitler didn't invent it. It came out of Eastern mysticism, Hinduism, Buddhism. It was a symbol of power and eternal life. The swastika basically, let me explain it, is the chromosomes, the X chromosome, with opposites built into it. You know that the legs of the swastika, they go in different directions. Okay? The four cardinal directions are earth, air, fire, and water. That's what they represent. It's like the force that's going to bring mankind into immortality. Let's read that passage out of Revelation. The fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from the earth, from heaven unto the earth. That's Starman. To him was given the key of the bottomless pit, and he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power. There's that word power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. Think of Superman's boy, he's 5 years old, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. Think about that. Think about the lion mark. And they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and their stings were in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. There is the Vrilia, right there. The Bible's telling you that they are in a pit. Jeremiah says they're coming up. When they come up, they're going to come up out of the north. That's where Superman lives. That's where the Vrilia live. That's where the whole hollow earth theory comes about, as coming from the north. And the Bible's just telling you what this is all about. They're telling you the real truth behind the mystery doctrines that's coming along. There was another man that influenced German Nazi thought in the early 1900s. His name, here he is right here. His name was Friedrich Nietzsche. Gesundheit. Nietzsche sounds like somebody sneezing. Nietzsche. Okay? This guy was wicked. Okay, for whatever Crowley was, this guy was the philosopher of Crowley. All right, he hated Christianity. He hated it, and he had an intellect, which means he had the ability with his words to write scathing, pithy, very sharp words, intelligent words against Bible Christianity. He hated morality. There is an allegation that he had an incestuous affair with his own sister. He hated God, and in general, he was morally bankrupt. He is the guy. Here's an article from Time magazine. This came out, I think, in the late 60s, early 70s, called Is God Dead? They got that from Nietzsche. Nietzsche coined the phrase, God is dead. This guy hated Christianity, hated God. So remember, here is Charles Darwin comes up with this idea of evolution. Blavatsky runs with it and says that the gods are controlling evolution. And then Nietzsche takes it a step further and he says he advocated for the advancement of human beings so they could be more than human. Had a guy come up, just visit us in our church, and I appreciate his help in studying Nietzsche. He had all kinds of quotes. He sent them to me, and I really appreciate it. Here's what Nietzsche said about the evolution of man. One must make oneself superior to humanity in power, in loftiness of soul, in contempt. We are Hyperboreans, beyond the north, beyond the ice, beyond death. Stop right here. Where did that come from? It was inspired to him. Nietzsche had a devil inspiring him to write, we are the Hyperboreans, beyond the north, beyond the ice, beyond death. He was referring to those that came out, or those that are coming out of the bottomless pit from the north country. He's giving you a clue of how mankind is going to be evolutionized beyond his current mortality. The problem that I sit here is not what shall replace mankind in the order of living creatures, but what type of man must be bred, must be willed, as being the most valuable, the most worthy of life, the most secure guarantee of the future. Notice that he says that what type of man must be bred. What was Hitler doing? Hitler was taking the ideas of Blavatsky and Nietzsche and trying to breed the Superman Aryan race. Documented fact, there was a program. Adolf Hitler went and found all these young girls, blonde hair and blue eyes, and then found all these guys with blonde hair and blue eyes, had the guys impregnate the girls, and Nazi Germany was raising these babies to be the superior race of Nazi Germany. A Superman race. Nietzsche wrote a book called Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Now, just a little bit of research into what he's talking about. Zarathustra was an ancient Persian mystical, sort of like a New Age guru. He would, in today's world, he would be from California. Okay? But that's who Zarathustra is. Zarathustra believed in, or Zoroaster. That's another name for him, Zoroaster. Ashtaroth. That's where the name comes from. Zoroaster, or Zarathustra, believed in this duality concept, that there was a good set of spirits and an evil set of spirits. And the good set of spirits was governed by a good god by the name of Ahura Mazda. You ever heard of a car company? Notice the wings, Mazda. That's where they got it from. They got it from Zoroaster's good god called Ahura Mazda, and he was in constant war with the god of evil. It was in this book, Thus Spake Zarathustra, that Nietzsche